Jason Martinez, Flyers fall in Detroit. Final score is 6-3. And Flyers battled back a couple times in this game, but ultimately Detroit ends up doubling up with some empty nets, and they take the win. And they take the season series. They beat the Flyers 3 times, Bri.
Yeah, in the course of like a month, right? I mean, you talk about picking the wrong time to play a team. Flyers didn't catch Detroit when they were struggling. They caught them at their best, and even tonight, they didn't necessarily play a game that was an automatic loss, but just again, too many self-inflicted wounds in this one for the Flyers to recover from. They definitely got some credit for trying to come back there in the second, and even in the third, they didn't fold the tents. But you just had the sense that after that last goal in the second period by Detroit, that was going to be a little bit too much to overcome, and I think that's what kind of ended up happening.
Yeah, that ends up being actually the game winner when Vrana scores at 18:51 of the third. Detroit opens up the game. Veleno gets the goal. Vrana scores in the first period. It's 2-0 after one. Then a minute 7 into the second, Lucas Raymond with an absolute bomb of a one-timer picks up his 20th. But 25 seconds later, Flyers get on the board. Farabee on a real nice play gets the goal. And then Oscar Lindblom at 7:56 gets the goal. They were within one. And then that late goal in the second period. It's amazing what one goal, how much that changes the dynamic, but it changed the dynamic.
Yeah. It's always been a cardinal sin, if you will, to give up a goal in the final minute, because it really does change the momentum. You don't want to give up a goal in the first minute or the last minute of a period. This was close enough to change the momentum, especially when the Flyers were already fighting against the current, so to speak. They were already down 3-0 in this game, and you close it to 1, and then when something goes in that late, I mean, you could have gone into that second intermission, just kind of still rolling a little bit and thinking to yourself, okay, we got this. And again, if you look at it, it's a 1-goal game minus the couple of empty netters, and if you don't surrender that late one. James Van Riemsdyk, he ties it in the third. So that's kind of the way you sort of look at it. I mean, you can look at that for any goal, really, if you really wanted to. But it's just I don't know. The Flyers again coming into this game still perhaps a little bit of a hangover from last weekend. I don't know. Still trying to find their way a little bit.
Take some aspirin.
Yeah. Playing 11-7 tonight. It's tough for them to look at this and dwell on it too much, but they definitely need to tighten up some things going into the rest of this trip.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at it, you go look in that second period, you go, okay, we gave up one early, and then we really outplayed them in the period, and you end up coming out of the period exactly where you started it, still down 2. And I give them credit in the third period, they come out and it's get a little bit more open in the third. They're going up and down the ice, and JVR is able to get them back within one when he picks up his 15th. But then Sundqvist gets the goal with the goaltender pulled. I was kind of, I'm not usually a real aggressive pull the goalie guy, like pull him rear early. Like, I don't like pulling a goalie with 4 minutes to go when you're on a power play. I say, let's let the power play out. Let's see if we can get the goal, with the goaltender in. And in this situation, Flyers had a couple of good scoring chances. And then at the with 3 minutes to go, Mike Yeo pulls Carter Hart. And 9 seconds later, they end up getting the empty net goal. So, of course, this sounds like it's in hindsight. But when he pulled him, I'm saying, he had a couple of good chances there, 5-on-5. Is this the time to pull him? You got a little mojo going. I guess you can look at it both ways. You can go, yeah, we got some mojo going. If we had an extra player, we're going to have even more. But the risk reward there was a little early in my estimation, in that specific situation.
I mean, I'm certainly not privy to the numbers that they have there. This is something that's been discussed around the game here for the last couple of years, I think, maybe, that with the analytics wave that's coming in, there's data out there that shows what your success rate is with your extra attacker out for X number of minutes left in the game. You know, like
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out the most effective way to go about it, and you know, who knows? Maybe under these certain circumstances, they felt like they needed some more time than normal. But you're right that it does seem that Mike Yeo has tended to pull his goaltender on the early side of you know what probably is the average time in a
Yeah.
one loss. I mean, yeah, you're down two, pull them 5 minutes out, whatever. Just go for it. But you know, it does seem like it's on the lengthy side. But again, I don't think that they're just you know saying, "Oh yeah, let's pull them now." I think they have their reasons. I just don't know what they are. So you know,
Yeah.
obviously, if it keeps not working, you're going to you're gonna to tighten that up a little bit. I would imagine maybe he might address this in his post game press conference, but there may have been something there where he felt that the Flyers were better off trying to attack it at 6-on-5 to get that tying goal rather than 5-on-5. But you're right. Sometimes it's just okay. You've got the 5-on-5 and it's doing well. You know, maybe see how that goes for a little bit longer. I don't know.
Yeah. Why add the added risk there to now being down two with an empty netter? And you know, the other part of it is when you pull the goaltender and there's an empty net, everybody's got to have an awareness. It's a different way to play. Again, possession is obviously key. And when you lose possession, you have to get to the puck and pressure the puck immediately to force them to turn it over. Because if they get up ice and get the free shot at the open net, and like we saw when Sundqvist scored, then now you're down two and it's pretty much lights out. And
Right.
that's what happened there. It just didn't seem like there was a lot of urgency when they lost the puck, and you got to do everything you can to protect the puck.
Yeah, yeah, and you know some of that could come from you know I don't know just again you've got 7D out there tonight. It shouldn't have been anybody that's tired. Just you know perhaps just a little bit of yeah, and I think we saw it tonight. We saw some situations where there were some mistakes made that were kind of you know decision making, bad reads, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's kind of the thing that falls into it or not. But yeah, I mean it's supposed to have been a mantra for this team all year is that you know when you lose the puck you work like hell to get it back, and we didn't see that in that situation.
Yeah, good point. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more here on the post game show. That's Brian Smith. I'm Jason Martinez. Flyers doubled up by the Detroit Red Wings 6-3 final. We're back after this on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. defeat against the Detroit Red Wings, game score of 6-3. And of course, Brian, I'm Googling when to pull a goalie in hockey. And there's lots of here's
I'll
the
bet
analytics.
there's some opinions.
Yep. You have a 1% chance of success if you pull with less than a minute 30 remaining, and you have a 3% chance of success if you pull them between a minute and a half and 5 minutes remaining.
That's a big window.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I don't know. I guess I'm wondering what success means. Does
tying it
success
up.
mean
That's in a 1-goal game.
okay? So does that mean? I guess do they differentiate between okay, you didn't score, so you're obviously not successful in that regard, or are you not successful because the other team scored 9 seconds after you pulled your goalie?
Well, they have a
I mean,
graph for
I
that.
feel like there's a difference there.
Yeah, they have the graph here, and it goes
Okay.
by year from 2003-4 season all the way up to 2019, and it's the goalie pull outcomes. No goals are the orange dots. That's the Flyers.
Yeah.
The red dots are a goal against, and the green dot is goal for. And as the time of pulling the goalie has gotten earlier and earlier, naturally the goals for have gone up, but disproportionately are the goals against.
Okay.
Not really affected are the no goals. So it's like a graph, and it's going up really steep on the red, which is goals against,
Okay.
a little bit on the goals for, and no goals is kind of hovering around the same outcome.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I
Which
mean,
seems odd to me.
again, I'm just this is just instinct, but I feel like okay, you have a 5-on-5, and so you're on the attack, and you add a 6 attacker, and you empty your goal. I feel like that in that instance, your advantage that you get is not as great as the potential advantage to the other team from having an empty net to shoot at, I guess is what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So that kind of that kind of to me, I get that there's probably there you have to find the sweet spot there between how much time do you give your offense to go out like that and get settled in and get some scoring opportunities. Because if you do it with 30 seconds left, I mean, you're going to get one scoring opportunity. That's not, that's all there is to it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you've got to make sure you buckle down and don't give the other team clean shots at your own net. So.
And the big key too is to use the advantage of the extra player. So getting into the zone gets set up for a quality scoring opportunity. Now it's hard with 11 skaters on the ice because it's clogged. But back in 2003, it was just around a minute was when the goaltenders would be pulled.
Right.
And for example, in 2019, it was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds when they pulled a goaltender. That's how much it's changed in the last 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty significant. So there is data there.
Yeah.
So
and too, like trying to think like how the hybrid icing would affect it. I mean, it used to be that
touch up, yeah.
You shoot the puck down there, and they don't blow the whistle until somebody goes back and touches it up, and then and now it's now you shoot the puck toward shoot for the net and you miss wide, it's blown dead, immediately to some extent. So I don't know how that would affect it as well, but that would seem to me that it would give the attacking team a little bit of an advantage.
And give the other team a little bit more of a disadvantage and less time to recover.
True. Yeah.
So I mean, it's nominal, but
right.
Not having to go all the way back down below the goal line and touch up can play a part in that.
When did the I may be making this up. When they cut the corners off the crease?
Oh God, I don't know.
Because it used to be that you could miss the net but still go through the crease and like the icing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's
now it's got to be a shot on goal.
Yeah.
And obviously that would go in. But the other thing too is for with the situation, and now you can also put the face off on what side you want. after an icing. So
Right.
all part of the equation, I
Yep,
guess.
yep. So
Um,
there's, and that's all part of, and again, same deal, with putting the face off where you want. You have the defensive zone, has to commit first, whether you're home or road. It used to be it
yep.
was the road team that would commit first. So
Yeah, so all part of the equation. All rules help to put into the game to help generate offense. Because God forbid if the
right,
goalies were to dominate the sport, even though they seemingly do for the most part year in year out. But anyway, that's kind of I guess Mike Yo's not a trailblazer or a radical goalie puller. A lot of people, a lot of coaches in the NHL
yeah,
are pulling them earlier. I'm gonna have to read up further on this exact data and really dive into the numbers because again, it's something that I think you have to have some feel to it too.
sure,
And
sure,
like that situation tonight, like I don't think you can dictate, the numbers of a situation in all areas. Like the Flyers the other night they pulled the goaltender in the game, and the other team was shorthanded, and he had a 6-on-4, and it was outside of I think 3 minutes, and and the reason why I didn't like that is because the other team can send it the length of the ice with no penalty. So you can go for the bomb empty netter. Who I forget who was scored the 200-foot empty net goal. To look back on the schedule, maybe that was against Ottawa.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was against Ottawa Friday night,
yep,
and that's a situation that I look for. Uh, and I know you want the 6-on-4 two-man advantage, but it's not as great of an advantage as a 5-on-3 because there's just more bodies on the ice.
sure, absolutely,
So
absolutely. We do
little
have,
things that keep me up at night.
we do have Rasmus Ristolainen talking to the media a little bit ago, and pretty much took full blame. He said that unfortunately I've been in that situation before, been around 9 years, but that loss was on me. So Mike Yo had also said that if he makes a mistake, he's the first to admit it. So it's an off night for him, and you just look for growth, right? You look for rebounds, you look for whatever. And who knows if I didn't really see how they used that seventh defenseman. I don't know if the pairings got upset or anything like that,
Yeah, I
but
saw Provorov with Connaughton at
yeah,
points, and yeah, it was bizarre.
so that certainly kind of makes things a little weird. But again, it's part of what we have want to see here over the rest of this year is these guys, developing even the veterans developing their games a little bit and getting settled in for next season. So you take a game like that and just hope that it's something that goes in the old mental file cabinet for different ways to approach things down the road.
Yeah, and going forward, when a guy does that, and because all the guys know, everybody knows who plays good and who plays bad. Nobody's oblivious. Don't hide it. Don't run from it and hide
Right.
from it.
Yeah.
Fall on your sword. If you had a bad night, look, everybody has them. And if you have a bad night, fall on your sword like that and be like, you know what? We didn't win the game because I stunk tonight. And that goes a long way in the room. It does. And it forces other guys to be accountable when everybody's accountable. So I think that's good. Because I think you have to have supreme levels of self accountability and team accountability to be successful in this game because you're not always going to be good. You play
Yeah.
82 of these damn regular season games, you're going to have a bad night.
Somebody, a coach said the other day that there's never been an NHL season that has 82 Rembrandts in it.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, you're right, and it's not even just going to be one or two games. There's going to be stretches of three or four that you're not very good. It's just a matter of trying to find a way to win some of those games. I mean, you look at Florida; they've lost 14 games in regulation this year.
Yep.
So that's a team that they lose one and they don't let it grow into 2 and 3 and 4, and that's that's a special quality to have. So
Yeah. Sometimes you have those nights where your mistakes are inconsequential.
right,
And then
yep,
some nights you can have less mistakes and they're just more consequential.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, I stunk the other night in my beer league game, but my team scored 16. It was inconsequential, you know.
yeah,
Um, but I didn't need to go in the room after that game and say, "Boys, you had no chance to win tonight because I stunk." It didn't matter because the collective was greater than the mistakes that one player or a couple of players could make. Some nights it's not that. You can make less mistakes, and they end up in the back of your net,
Yeah.
and that's just the way team sport goes. And so I commend Ristolainen for, I mean, I would say recognizing that he made some mistakes tonight, but falling on his sword and taking the accountability for it, because that can move you forward as a group. So the Flyers will be back at it, game 2 of this road trip, and this will start a stretch, Bry, of how about this stretch? All playoff teams: St. Louis, Colorado, Nashville, Minnesota, Toronto, the Rangers, all the way through April 3rd. A lot of games in there and a lot of good teams. And the Flyers are still looking for their first road win, and only one of those games is at home, and that's Toronto.
Yeah, it's a run here where the Flyers are looking to kind of upend some teams' playoff plans, right? Just just trying to get in there and be the spoilers, if you will. They're also looking to, again, and it's kind of difficult to do without a couple of the guys that will be leaders next year, but they're also looking to. It's no small feat that you've got to establish what this team is now without Claude Giroux, and it's not just on the ice; it's off the ice as well. You've got to find guys that are going to take over that face-off role. You got to find guys that are going to rally the troops when things aren't going well. You got to find guys that are going to kind of lead you in the next thing when things are going well. So it's a matter of who's going to step up and take those roles. And there's a lot now for this team to kind of do to reorganize a little bit and start that quote unquote new era, if you will. You have 20 games here to get a head start on it for next season, assuming that Giroux does not come back. So you've got to use that time wisely, and again, try to position yourself to go into the offseason with some momentum.
By the way, I'd like to congratulate Giroux for using the word curate in his goodbye tweet. Did you see that?
I did, yes.
I'm going, the rest of it I could see him saying, I plan to curate a formal goodbye, but for now I wanted to acknowledge this change. Like, I could hear him saying all of that except for curate. I think he got some proofing help from Ryan on this.
I had to laugh a little bit at that because
curate.
In my experiences with Claude, and I unfortunately didn't get to talk to him much the last 3 years because of the bubble and all that. But there were times when he would latch on. He was the team's AAA spokesperson for a while, and so he would have to read things into a recorder. I'd have to record him reading things, and he would approach these tasks similar to the way I would probably look if I was asked to play in a game for the Flyers. It was like he's looking at it. It's like the hardest thing he's ever done, because you got to remember when he got here, he couldn't speak English really.
He wasn't very good.
He was
almost uncomfortable too.
100% French, and he was uncomfortable about it. And just reading a script about an advertising script or whatever it was, that was a huge task for him. And again, for you and me, we just oh yeah, here, I'll read that. We can just do it automatically. And so I kind of laughed when I saw that. I was like, it does sound to me like something he would say, but maybe didn't entirely mean to say it. But yeah, it was a great post on his behalf. There was also a full page ad in the Inquirer today by the Flyers. That used to be like the piece de resistance for a goodbye like this. Now you have videos and stuff, and the full page ad is almost an afterthought. There's billboards. Have you seen the billboards? There's been billboards.
Yeah, I saw the billboard on 95 the other night, and Pico building was lit up.
Yeah, they've been all over the place. So it was handled well, and it was nice to see that response. And like he said, I'm sure we'll see something else here down the road. But he's got a lot to. He's always been. Around people outside the locker room, he's always been an introvert, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll come, but it's not like it's something. He's not a I don't know. He's not a guy
that's a wordsmith.
Yeah, he's not a guy that's going to come out and give this huge speech to thank everybody. I'm trying to think of he's not like a Ryan Kessler or a Paul Bissonnette or any of these guys that would just come out and speak off the cuff. He's always been a little introverted outside the locker room
and measured.
Yeah. So that was that what you saw today for him was a big deal. So
and his way of kind of cutting through to you, at least with me, was always breaking my stones.
Yeah.
Just constantly giving it to me. So whether that was for something I said on the radio or something we say in the broadcast or just walking by while they're playing soccer, it was just always giving me a rash. But I digress. He's going to do well down there in Florida, and we'll see if he can get that big shiny thing that every hockey player dreams of getting. So we'll see how that goes. Let's put a wrap on it. Let's thank a few people before we get out of here. Let's start with our in-studio engineer. How about Pat Egan on the broadcast tonight? Pat, who was on the highlights tonight? He said, who gives a you know what? It was on highlights tonight, so good job by them. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, and Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.